Rapper Logic buys $200,000 Pokemon card. You heard that correctly, the headlines are correct. Logic bought a Pokemon card, a first edition base set Charizard PSA 10 for $226,000. To be honest, that doesn't really surprise me. It should, I think, more than it does. I feel like with all of the recent stuff that has been going on within the vintage Pokemon card communities, like specifically with the old school cards, someone buying a card for 200 grand is not as shocking as it would have been like a year ago. So I wanted to go ahead and just do like a deep dive, taking a look at this story. There are tons of news articles on it, which I think is super interesting. So please let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. But let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay, just like picture yourself being like a famous celebrity, just spending an absurd amount of money on anything. I feel like most of the time it's not headline worthy, but because people haven't really been thinking about Pokemon, you know, since 20 years ago, this is shocking to a lot of people because nobody would understand why somebody would pay 200 grand for a piece of cardboard. But if I had 200 grand to blow on a first edition base set Charizard at this point, yeah, I would probably go ahead and do it. All right. Logic breaks record with purchase of first edition Charizard Pokemon card. He broke the record. This is the most money anyone has ever spent on a Pokemon card. A year ago, I did an interview and somebody asked me what the most expensive card was. I told them it was the Pikachu Illustrator card, and that was like 50 grand. Somebody bought one for 50 grand. But Logic is just like, hey, I spent $226,000 on this card. So the auction was for 183 grand, and due to the buyer premium, some of the fees, I guess, it ended up costing 226K out of Logic's pocket. This is the card in question that he bought, the Gem Mint 10. It's got like this exact number on it. So Logic bought literally this Pokemon card right here. Like, I have some Charizard cards. These ones are not first edition 10s. These are both 9s, and I pulled both of these myself from a booster pack. The rarity of this card is a lot more extreme than people believe. I think, like, to the eye, people are like assuming that this card was just like roaming around in the wild back in the day. This card, to get a Gem Mint 10 rating, is very, very rare, especially in the old days when Pokemon wasn't necessarily experts in producing these yet. Like, Wizards of the Coast knew what they were doing, but they still weren't perfect with every single print run. And so you'd get cards that were off center. You'd get some that were just like, you know, cut a little weird or had edge wear from the pack. Like, they were not all Gem Mint 10s. A lot of them would come back with 9s, or I mean, maybe even 8s if it was printed very funny. Perfect condition, no scratches, no edge wear, perfectly framed is a very, very rare thing to find. So that should be noted. It's just kind of insane that like us as people, and this just kind of blows my mind, we value like specific Pokemon within this more than others. For instance, the Charizard card specifically is worth so much more than any other card solely because we just chose to like Charizard more than the other ones. This could have been Gyarados, like Gyarados could have been the guy, you know what I mean? But it's Charizard. So the fact that it's a Charizard makes it way more rare than any of the other cards. I actually appreciate this part in this article that dives into the fact that it is more expensive because it is the first edition. You know, it's like a shadowless card. It's not just a regular base set Charizard. It was the first print run of this Pokemon set, so that made it significantly more rare. Dude, people be covering this. TMZ was in on this? Jeez, man. I'm gonna look Logic up on Instagram because I know he just posted a picture of his base set booster box that he bought. Yeah, so he went ahead and picked up a base set box. This is just a regular base set, not a first edition, not a shadowless. For $23,000. Even now, after this has been a couple of days since he's done this, I am willing to bet that the price of base set boxes, because Logan Paul and Logic have been getting in on this, there's got to be other musical artists, other people, other celebrities that are getting in on this now too. I would reckon that the price of that has gone up a lot. I don't know how much, but I'm honestly kind of curious because I feel like with them getting into it, it's making the price more. Like literally them being interested in it. But it looks like the price is still like relatively the same. They've got some for 30 grand, some of them for 20 grand, unlimited box for That one's a bid one. Oh my God. Somebody paid $1,600 for 3 booster packs of regular base set. Somebody got the French box for $12.5. So single packs of just like regular unlimited base set are selling for like $400, $500. Sealed box for 20 grand. Nobody's gonna sell one for cheaper than 25 now, you know. So these boxes are gonna go up a lot. And I have a feeling as soon as other big celebrities who have big money are gonna get into this, it's gonna skyrocket. And it's already skyrocketed over the last like year or so. So yeah, Logic bought a $23,000 box of cards, opened it up. And then was like, hell yeah, I love this. I'm gonna buy a $200,000 first edition Gem Mint 10 card. It's the most expensive Nintendo collectible ever purchased. But I think it's very, very interesting that capitalism allows for this kind of stuff, because this is not like value at its like core. Like, these are pieces of cardboard with a nicely printed art on them. That's what they are. We value them however we see fit. And because we think that this is valuable, it's worth the price of a house. That's it. But everybody's like talking about this like this is a record-setting thing, which is really interesting because it is a record-setting Pokemon card purchase. Him and Logan Paul are just like, Logan Paul dropped 200 grand on that first edition base set box that he opened. He sold $400,000 worth of packs, so it just like evened itself out. He made $200,000 off of that. I also love that this article in particular, Dexerto referred to Logic as Twitch streamer. They called him Twitch streamer Logic. Raised the bar even higher after spending $226K on the Shadowless first edition Charizard. Yes, but this is crazy money. I feel like it's turned way more into the money part of it than the collecting part of it, which is a really, really strange in-between to be in, because during my entire collecting career, it's always been about like completing the sets and like just like collecting your favorite cards or cards that, you know, you thought were more rare, but not necessarily. It was never, in my opinion, when I was collecting, it was never about like, I have the most expensive card, or I have this card that's valued at this much money. And the fact that they're taking it there, like Logan Paul's big thing was like, I spent $200,000. Like that was in everything. $200,000 on a box. I bought this card for $200,000. It's crazy how much more it is about the dollar signs in it than it is about them getting the cool card. But I guess it was just a matter of time. And I think that's just like the hardcore, like innate collector in me being like,
no, it's not about that, man. It's about the love for the game, man. It's never been about the money, man.
Oh, yep. So Logic put this on Twitter as well. Just opened up a 20. See, but you gotta put it in the title. Like, why couldn't you just said he opened up a Pokemon base set box? He's like, no. Nobody's gonna care if I opened up Pokemon cards. They're only gonna care if I spent a reckless amount of money on these cards. I was gonna say it's like when Beyonce dumped that 20 grand bottle of champagne into her hot tub. However, she wasn't bragging about that it was $20,000. And also this isn't wasted because he had a great time. But it just seems like it's that, like, I don't want to say negligent, when it's just like some person is like literally paying, you know, it's literally like paycheck to paycheck right now, and then Logic's like,
hey, by the way, just dropped 1 year's rent on Pokemon.
And that's 1 year's rent in somebody, and that's not Logic's 1 year rent, but you know what I mean. So yeah, this is real money right here. This is real money. So this website, it does a great job of like leading an article into another, because these two articles are very closely related and they just like link them. They're like, all right, Pokemon card worth $85,000 pulled during Logan Paul's live stream. And that's a clickbaity title. But once again, you always got to put the money in it. Nobody's going to care if it was like very rare Pokemon card pulled during live stream. They're going to be like, all right, if I got this card graded and it came back with the ranking I'm thinking, it's going to be worth $85,000. So Logan Paul not only made like 200 grand off of selling those packs, but he also raised like 100 grand for charity. He raised like $120,000 for NAMI in that one stream. There were like 300,000 people watching this live unboxing of this box, and he's like, hey, if we pull the Charizard, everybody's gonna donate $2. The power of this is crazy. In September, Logan Paul surprised millions of fans when he revealed he'd spent an estate's worth of money on Pokemon cards. The 25-year-old influencer explained that Nintendo collectibles had become a new art worth investing in. It's not surprising that he got, you know, a very influential person within the community to start doing this, and then that got even more people into it. So I would imagine that Logan Paul and Logic could could like have this snowball and have like literally every celebrity getting in on this in some way. It's really cool because now Pokemon card collecting is suddenly cool again, and I feel so cool.
Hey, who wants to see my Pokemon card collection?
Nobody ever asked about my card collection before this.
I'm gonna start doing more videos on my actual like complete sets, because all of the old school sets that these guys are collecting, I have them completed. I have like the whole set, every single card in it, not because I cared about the money, because I just was a major geek, still am big geek, but major geek, and wanted the whole complete set of the base set. You know, I was like, I gotta have every one. It's not a complete collection if I don't have them all. I gotta catch them all. Jeez. So one interesting thing about this website is that it broke down the cards that he pulled by value, and this is from Logan Paul. It's breaking down each of these cards by their estimated value. I don't really appreciate that it's not really reflecting that this is after you go and get it professionally graded, which is a really, like, it's a bigger process than they would want you to believe. But yeah, it's really troublesome that for a lot of these, like they're basically putting this number here. They say estimated value, but they're not really making it super obvious that that is after it gets professionally graded. Like, you have to go through the whole process of getting these cards professionally graded. You have to submit them, you have to send them through the mail. It takes several months. I don't know if they've speeded it up by now, but the last time I went and got like a chunk of them done, like the last time I went and got some of these guys done, it took several weeks for them to come back. They're kind of just like putting these numbers up front. I didn't notice there's like one line in here. Of course, the values listed below are estimates, which will ultimately be determined by grading. Here's everything that they pulled during the live event. So it's like super not clear what they even, like, they didn't even describe what grading means or what it like entails. Like, if I didn't know anything about Pokemon cards and I read that, I would be like, oh, someone literally just looks at it and tells you if it's mint condition. Like, I wouldn't assume that you have to go through like a really lengthy process to actually get these looked at professionally and encapsulated in that special case. Would they get their own unique barcode? It's like a whole, they're like registered, it's a whole thing. This is so clickbaity, and like the numbers in here are just so like inflated and like, oh yeah, this card is estimated at 30 grand. But I do appreciate the publicity for Pokemon. Once again, I feel like Pokemon it's been a thing that pretty much everybody has known about. However, right now is the time when everybody's seeing articles like this and they're like, oh my gosh, Pokemon is making a comeback. People are into it. People are collecting it again, especially the old cards. I remember I used to collect those old cards. I'm gonna see if I can find my Pokemon cards again and take a look at them. And it's kind of rekindling that nostalgia for a lot of people, and I think that's really cool. A logical decision, apparently. For logic, once again, if you got the money, spend it on whatever you want, man. He could be spending it on whatever he wants, and if he bought like a $20,000 bottle of champagne, if he bought something else, like, we wouldn't even be talking about it. There'd be no news articles on it. If he blew like 50 grand on some Gucci shit, nobody would be talking about it. But because this is something new and mildly preposterous, that's a lot of dough. It's like a big deal. Everybody's talking about it. If you had the opportunity, would you buy a new house or would you buy a first edition Gem Mint 10 Charizard holographic? I really do want to get your guys' opinion on this because I think this is super freaking interesting, very topical, and obviously being a channel for Pokemon cards, like, we have our opinions on what we've already been doing within the community. Like, this is new to a lot of people, or like kind of like re-brought back into people's lives after like 20 years of them not collecting. People are like, oh my god, I remember those Pokemon cards. So that is all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like. Guys, feel free to check out our other YouTube videos on Pokemon stuff. Also, we stream 4 times a week, twice on Twitch, twice on YouTube, so feel free to check those out as well. But other than that, hopefully you guys are having a great day and continue to have a great day, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!